Hello friends, I hope all are doing well. Today I chosen the topic for my lecture is India's Brahmos missile deal with Philippines, Indonesia and Vietnam. First of all, I would like to tell you this topic is very important and very interesting for all of us. I will cover this topic in three parts: introduction, main body and conclusion. Let's start the introduction. In the introduction, I cover why India export Brahmos missile to the Philippines, Indonesia and Vietnam because there has the South China Sea and China dominant on the South China Sea. There has already he scratched and rotated the 8 dash line on the map. So that reason China dominant on that South China Sea. Approximately 55% India has a trade doing from that sea. So it's a sea route very important for us. And whenever our Southeast Asian countries want the defense sector equipment and the missile, that time India obviously agreed with them because 50% trade doing through the Malacca Strait. Let's see what is the Brahmos missile. Brahmos missile, that means it very essential missile. It's a range approximately 300 kilometer. But presently advanced version installed in that missile, so it's increased the range until 800 kilometer. And that missile very helpful to the army, air force and navy. So that reason Southeast Asian all countries want to do that missile and that countries want to do a deal with the India. Let's see the cost. Approximately 450 billion US dollar doing a deal with the India regarding the Brahmos missile of the Indonesia and Vietnam. But in the year of 2022, Philippines already signed a deal 375 billion US dollar, and India gives rocket to the Philippines in the year of 2024 January. Thereon, when Philippines got Brahmos missile, then Indonesia and Vietnam country decided buy Brahmos missile from the India. And finally, 6th December 2025, both countries signed a deal with the India about 450 billion US dollar. And presently, the deal those signed, there has a 50-50% share. That means 225 billion US dollar with the Indonesian, 225 billion US dollar with the Vietnam. And whenever signed that deal, that time we necessarily take a permission from the Russia because Russia gives the technology to us. So that reason the deal has been pending from the 4 December 2025 to the 25 December 2025, and presently today Russia approval that deal. So that reason I pick up that topic. It's a very essential for us. Let's move toward the main body. In the main body, first I want to tell you this topic not only depend on the deal regarding the Brahmos missile, but these topics I will cover here. Three countries relationship with the India. So let's see regarding the Indonesia. Before independence in the year of 1945, first seeing the history of the Indonesia. Indonesia has ruled in the year of 1596 to the 1942. There has the ruled by the Dutch, that means Netherlands. A Netherlands country, it's located in the Europe continent. There has 44 country, and toward the north west side it's a country located, and there has the colonial Dutch, and Dutch colonial doing a ruled on the Indonesia in the year of 1596 to 1942. Thereon Japan army came in the Indonesia, and he attacked on the Dutch colonial, and finally he took a charge of the all Indonesia, not Malaysia, because there has the island of Brunei Island, and Brunei Island there has a three country: Brunei country, Malaysia and Indonesia. But Indonesia country's terrain controlled by the Japan in the year of 1942, and finally 1942 to 1995. Here I correction the year 1942 to the 1945. that era, Japan ruled on the Indonesia, and finally what happened? Second World War happened, and Allies and Axis group fight each other 1939 to 1945, and their Allies group won that World War II. And Axis group there has a three country: Germany, there on the Italy, and Japan. And finally, those country lost the war. So that reason, Japan country left Indonesia in the year of 1945 and independence the Indonesia country with the help of the Britain and the USA. Let's see the history of the Vietnam in the era of the 111 BC to 938 AD. What is AD and BC? BC, that means before born Jesus Christ. It's called BC. And after born Jesus Christ, it's called AD. So today, year 2025, that means 2025 AD. So before born Jesus Christ, it's called BC. So in the year of 111 BC to 938 AD, they are ruled by the Dutch. But when they came there, Dutch, so that time China fight with them, and finally China won, and China ruled on that era. That means Dutch wanted to doing a ruled on there, but China is also there. China fight with the Dutch, and finally they took charge of the Vietnam, because approximately 1000 kilometer away on Vietnam terrain from the China. There on 1938 to 18th century, 1856, that time Vietnam fight with the China, and there Vietnam king won, and finally China left those all terrain. 1856 to 1940, that time ruled by the Vietnam king. But finally Japan army again came, because the part of the south side, South China Seas, there has located Brunei Island, and Indonesia has ruled by the Japan 1942 to 1945. So before start the rule of the Indonesia, they ruled on the Vietnam, because Japan fight with the Vietnam kings and their victory Japan. So that reason Japan ruled 1940 to 1945. But due to the World War II, they skip Indonesia and also Japan. So that means Indonesia and also Vietnam, Japan they ruled. And finally, in the year of 1942, Japan left from the Vietnam and Indonesia. Let's see. Those are the history of both countries. Let's see the relationship between the India and both countries. Relationship has been very well. The trade between India and the Indonesia approximately 29 billion US dollar every year. And India 9 billion US dollar exported to the Vietnam, and Vietnam exported to the India 20 billion US dollar. And the trade regarding the Vietnam and the India, there has approximately 50 billion US dollar. With the Indonesia, there has a 29 billion US dollar, and Vietnam, there has a trade approximately 15 billion US dollar. In the export to the Vietnam, approximately 5 billion US dollar, and import 10 billion US dollar. That means Indonesia and Vietnam, there has a trade as a similar with the India. India export 5 to 9 billion to the Indonesia, and import 20 billion from the Indonesia. And with the Vietnam, there India export 5 billion to the 6 billion and import 10 billion. So those are trade relationship between those countries. Let's see the Philippines. Philippines country located toward the east side of the South China Sea. That means the northeastern side of the Vietnam and the Indonesia. It's a Philippines country, they are well located. And Philippines country signed a deal with the India regarding the Brahmos missile in the year of 2022. But India exported Brahmos missile in the year of 2024. Thereon, both countries wanted to buy Brahmos missile from the India, and finally 6 December 2025 Brahmos missile signed a deal approximately 450 billion US dollar. Let's see how doing that deal work for the India? India has firstly Brahmos missile made by the India, so that reason it's a become a self-reliant country. Second, increasing the GDP rate. Third, increasing the job creativity in the India, and fourth, help to boost our GDP and showing the all world India is the powerful country in the technology and the missile and defense sector. Because in the present scenario, create the conflict in the all world. Let's I mention here the country's name: Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Palestine, Cambodia, Thailand, thereon Venezuela and USA, then South Sudan and Sudan, then Congo. That means those country has the conflict each other. So that reason every country want the air defense system from the other countries. But India here presently showing to the all world we are the self-reliant and manufacture the best quality air defense equipment. Let's see toward the India has the benefit, but the cons also there. Cons, that means whenever we buy our air defense system to the other country, that time that country may be stolen the technology of that, and also our enemy countries will be helpful from that country find out the technology and getting them. It is the little bit cons for India. Let's see how doing a work of Brahmos missile? Brahmos missile there has the four part. First, radar. Approximately Brahmos missile find out the target 120 to 130 kilometer away and detect that target. There on that information sent to the command control. Command decided which target hit. That information command sent it to the launcher. Launcher there has the tube, and that tube hit it to the target with the help of the that message. And missile cover the distance approximately 800 kilometer. That means presently advanced features they are established, so that doesn't increase the range of the Brahmos missile. Those are the doing a work of the Brahmos missile. Let's move toward the conclusion. According by my personal opinion, India doing a trade with the other countries, it's very essential for us. But whenever other countries want missile system equipments and weapons from our country, that time other country and our surrounding enemy countries definitely has increased the fear, and they didn't doing any unnecessary activities in our nation. So that reason we must be doing a trade with the other countries and also focus on the foreign direct investment and the East Asian policy. So thank you so much friends who are listening and watching this video. I hope that information very helpful for your upcoming examination. Thank you so much.